All right. Welcome back to the show, episode 693. We did miss the Baltimore series. Didn't really find anything out other than, I don't know, the Yankees can't stand toe-to-toe with Baltimore. We found that out. Yeah, there was a little bit of vitriol that series with all the hit-by pitches, and I don't know. The Yanks got embarrassed in that series as they've been the last three series. There are some real issues to address. Catcher came up again in that series. The lack of an arm behind the plate. First base, second base, third base. Starting pitching? I don't know. Relief pitching. We'll talk about that. So that's what we missed. That was the Baltimore series there in 25 seconds. But we're here to talk about this most recent series loss. The Yankees they dropped 2 out of 3 to the Atlanta Braves. So we'll do that here at episode 693 of the show. Let's get to it here. On episode 693 of BD4. Welcome to BD4. Welcome along. Appreciate you tuning in. Let's get to our intro. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. You are listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. Let's get to it.
Anthony for 3. That one goes down, and the game is tied.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
The Yankees are champions of baseball.
Shaking and baking right here on the neophyte.
U.S. trying to close the show.
She was doing a great job of feeding.
That is it.
It's over.
It's over. See ya. 3,000. History.
Coming up, so KP, don't you regret not coming to the net? Don't you regret not coming to the net?
Game over. World Series over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
All right. Welcome to episode 693. And the Yanks have some major issues. After losing 2 more out of 3, this time to the Atlanta Braves at Yankee Stadium. The Yanks continuing to struggle. Call it whatever you want. June swoon, call it slump, call it whatever. We'll dive into it. Real quick. Well, we'll try to make it quick. Some in-house stuff before we get to the episode here. We found out during the previous series, again, which I did miss that episode against the Orioles, that Anthony Rizzo broke his arm. He's going to be out at least 8 weeks. Ben Rice was promoted, debuted last Tuesday. Aaron Judge hurt his wrist in the Baltimore series. The first game, sat game 2, was fine, so he returned in game 3. So that raised the question. A lot of Yankees fans were pissed off, including myself. Why didn't he play game 2? If he was okay, he should have been in there. I guess they're trying to be precautious, but this was a big series. Couldn't really afford that. Garrett Cole returned in that Baltimore series. Pitched on Wednesday. That was the second game of the series, I believe. He was okay. Looked fine. They limited him to 60 pitches, which was odd because I guess I thought the whole point of progressing him to 70 plus, whatever he was at in his final AAA start, was so that he can keep progressing. And you were hoping it would be close to 90, if not 90. But it was 60. Jason Dominguez, we found out that was that it was a left oblique strain. Now he's going to be out a while, at least 8 weeks. That's such a killer. Gleyber Torres had a groin injury during the Baltimore series, but he's fine. He's been back. And then Giancarlo Stanton, most recently, the hamstring injury. speed walking the bases because he can't run. Has the hamstring injury. Everybody in their mothers knew that was coming. Again, so unfortunate that Jason Dominguez now goes down, and Pereira, for that matter, is also hurt. Oswald Peraza was promoted, then demoted for J.D. Davis, who we'll talk about in this episode. Traded to the Yankees. Yankees gave Oakland some cash and a bum. Clayton Andrews was DFA'd. Anthony Misowitz was optioned. And there were also a lot more bullpen changes that we'll talk about in this episode. But that's your rundown of what's been going on in-house. On the field, well, the Yankees have been struggling. And game one this past weekend, as I'm recording, it is Monday night, June 24th. But in game one of the Braves series, the Yankees lost 8-1. This was just the Carlos Rodon game. It was a nightmare from the very get-go from Rodon. He finishes this game 3 2/3 innings pitched, 8 runs, 11 hits, 2 walks, 3 home runs allowed, and he gets the deserved loss. He never gave the Yankees a chance. Never gave them a chance from the very get-go. They were all over him. It was 3-0 after 1. It was 4-0 after the top of the second. 5-1 after the top of the third. 8-1 after the top of the fourth, which was your eventual final score. They needed him in this game. They needed him to come through after his Boston start, which was very disappointing and unfortunate. The Yankees were coming into this game struggling, and Carlos Rodon was supposed to be the stopper, and he folded. And he folded like, I don't know. I don't have a fucking analogy. But that's now 2 duds, absolute duds in a row from Rodon, and his season was looking so promising up until these final 2 starts. But that happened, and his fastball has been getting hammered. I think that's where it starts. It always starts with his fastball, which has been a weird pitch for him this year. It's like it either sits 93, 94, or sometimes he dials it up to 97, 98. And it's all about the location and command with it. But, I mean, the Braves, the Red Sox before that, I mean, these lineups, he's facing good lineups, and they're punishing his fastball. They're putting good swings on it. They're squaring up on it, making hard contact, and that's leading to a lot of extra base hits, a lot of doubles, a lot of home runs. They're jumping first pitch. And I don't know if he's tipping his pitches. I don't know if it's a scouting report thing. They're finding out that he's, I don't know. But it's been very bad, and maybe some of that's just regression to the mean because the underlying numbers all season have been bad with Carlos Rodon. They've kind of caught up to him because the whole thing has been he's pitching you a lot of contact and he's not getting many strikeouts, and you go on the baseball savant and it's nothing special. Is that going to eventually catch up? Well, it has. But it's on him to now fix his shit very quickly. I don't like the body language lately. He's been pitching like a loser. It's easy to say that when you have a bad start, but he's out there crying in the dugout. Gleyber Torres has to console him, and I'm not giving an opinion on that. I don't really care, but I'm just saying he's not confident right now. And so Carlos Rodon was awful, and he needs to figure his shit out and be that number 2. It's like Garrett Cole comes back, and now everybody else forgets how to pitch. Yandres Gomez makes his season debut in this series, game 1 of the series. He pitched right after Rodon. We'll talk about his appearance later. Richard Bickford, that's a name, came in after Gomez. And the Yankee bats in game 1 were very bad. Just 1 run, right? Bottom of the first, Volpe gets caught stealing. Bottom of the second, you have the Jahmai Jones triple from the 5-hole. And then he comes around to score once DJ LeMahieu puts the ball in play, gets an RBI, and that was your only offense right there. The Yankees lose to the Braves 8-1 in Game 1. Game 2 of this series, the Yankees won 8-3, top of the first inning. Ozuna hits the home run off Stroman, but the Yankees answer back when Judge comes through with a 2-run bomb. Later plates a run off of a bases-loaded double play. That puts the Yankees up a little more. Gleyber Torres and Oswaldo Cabrera pick up some RBIs later. Judge another RBI later. Stroman puts together a good start. We'll talk about that. The bullpen was good in this game. Trent Grisham with a late RBI, and the final score eventually was 8-3. This was the Fox broadcast. A lot of Yankees fans, not loving John Smoltz. John Smoltz not loving the Yankees. That's always been a thing. But that was that. That was pretty much Game 2. 8-3, the Yankees win. That was their only win of the series. Game 3, they lost 3-1 from the get-go. Again, struggling. Top of the third, Kelenic the home run. Top of the fifth, the sac fly off Nestor Cortez. It's 3-0. Bottom 6, that's where you get your only offense from the Yankees. The one run coming on an Anthony Volpe RBI double. It's your only source of offense right there. Nestor Cortez goes 7 innings, 3 runs. So he did his job, and he continues to do his job. Maybe he's getting a little too much hate from me, from Yankees fans. I've been criticizing him. I don't love soft-throwing lefties, and the Yankees have 2 of them, so it's like it bugs me a little bit. But he's been doing his job, man. He's eating innings, and he's limiting runs, and that's the only 2 things you want your number 5 pitcher to do. One or the other, right? And he's doing both. So he's had a good year. It's hard to trust him because his splits home road are so different. And this has been a thing his entire Yankees career. He pitches much better at Yankee Stadium. So maybe that's something the Yankees look at come playoff time if he's going to be part of that rotation. We'll see. But the Yankees lose this game 3-1 despite Nestor Cortez going 7 innings. They lose. We're going to head to our first break. When we come back, we'll start with our cap tips. We'll tip our caps to the 3 Yankees that we usually tip our cap to each series. 1 out of the bullpen, 1 out of the rotation, and 1 out of the lineup. The best Yankee of each. And then after that, we'll get to our certain talking points. So stay with us here on BD4, episode 693. The Yanks have some major issues, and we're going to talk about it when we return. Stay with us.
Hey there, thanks for listening in so far. If you enjoyed this episode, please give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks so much. You can follow us on social media as well. On Instagram, we're at BD4Pod and at Rob J. Carbone. On X, we're at BD4Pod and at RJCBD4. And on Facebook, we're BD4.
Welcome back to the show, episode 693. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. Let's tip our caps. And you know what? Let's start with the kid, Yandris Gomez. We'll start in the bullpen and tip our caps to him. Yandris Gomez pitched really well after Rodon shit the bed in Game 1. He goes 4 2/3 in relief, no runs, 5 strikeouts, 3 walks, a hit, 2 singles and a double, 78 pitches, no decision. And yeah, I mean, he came in and he 8 innings, saved the bullpen. They didn't have to use their high leverage guys. And Gomez was still able to keep the Yankees, I don't want to say keep them in it, but he avoided making the game worse. So I liked what I saw. He's got a deep pitch mix. He went to his curveball a lot. And so he gave the Yankees length. This is a kid from their system. He's a young arm, 24-year-old righty. So we'll see what he can give them. I'd like for him to stay in this bullpen going forward. Let's go to the rotation. And I want to talk about Marcus Stroman, because I thought Stroman was good. He pitched in Game 2, the lone win, 6 2/3 innings, 3 runs, 6 strikeouts, which is new, 2 walks, 3 hits. There were 2 home runs, a single, 93 pitches, and he got the win. Yeah, Marcus Stroman, not Carlos Rodon, gave the Yankees a big rebound start. They needed one. They were struggling coming into the game. They needed a win badly. Stroman came through. And that's the type of energy he has given this team since he's signed. He was pitching a gem until, he gave up the home run late. He had 1 run through 6 innings, but did give up that second home run. But he's been pitching very well, man. And if you were to tell me Marcus Stroman in mid-June or late June at this point would be 7-2 with a 3.15, I would sign up for that any day. I would also tell you that I kind of predicted it. I said in my preseason blog, I've said this in episodes entering the season, I think Marcus Stroman's going to have a career year or close to a career year with the Yankees. He'll pitch more like he did with Toronto with the Yankees. I don't know. I had that feeling, and he's been doing that so far. He's been excellent. He still frustrates me with the nibbling. Sometimes it's excessive, and he goes way outside the zone too much, but it's the way he has to pitch because he doesn't have good stuff. So continues to do his thing. Him and Austin Wells have developed a nice little tandem. Austin Wells, wearing the do-rag on those days in support of Stroman. I think that's pretty fun. Maybe Wells was in there also because Charlie Morton was on the mound for Atlanta in Game 2. You want the lefty bat in there. And Stroman, who's very slow to the plate. Obviously, this was exposed on Sunday Night Baseball against Boston. Trevino with a slow pop time. You don't want to combine that, so maybe you see more Wells going forward. But yeah, Stroman was good. Again, he was beat up a little late. He also got those tough calls where you could see he was clearly frustrated with it. Boone comes out, kind of gets ejected for him. They were correct calls by the umpires. I didn't think it was as egregious as Stroman and Boone were making it seem, but Stroman is doing a nice job kind of getting Yankees fans to side with him this year. It was a big thing coming into the season. Will we like him? Will we not? But he's doing his thing, and he's done a nice job fixing his image. He's saying the right things. He's not really had any blow-ups or anything, any scuffles or anything at all. He's going on social media after these games, and he's giving the Yankees and Boone tons of love. I'm following him on there, and I like what he says, and he's handling New York City well. And so Marcus Stroman gets his 6th salute of the season, getting the lone win in this series. So good for him. Again, now 7-2, I believe, or 7-3, with a 3.15. So I'd sign up for that any day of the week. So good for Marcus Stroman doing that. Going to first base. How about Ben Rice? That's the wrong graphic. Give me 1 second. No, not Ben Rice. Anthony Volpe, sorry. Tipping my cap to Anthony Volpe this series. He was 3 for 11, 273 average, 840 OPS, 2 doubles, no home runs, but an RBI, 2 walks. Had a good series. And on the season, he's 271 with a 742 OPS. Yeah, man. We'll talk more on Volpe later. He's playing really good shortstop, and there's a really good chance he could pick up his second Gold Glove in 2 seasons, which is just, I don't know if anybody's done that to start their career. So Anthony Volpe's been good. I do want to talk about Ben Rice because he's been on my mind. Ben Rice has been here about a week now, and this is somebody who's more of a late bloomer. He wasn't really a high-rated prospect in the Yankee system, but he's been raking in the minors the last couple seasons. kind of made his name known last year, but it's been more the casual Yankees fans now hearing about it this year. And now he gets the promotion with the Rizzo injury. And, it's been a small sample. There have been a couple games where he hasn't done much, but he showed up in this past series against the Braves with a 400 on base. And he's getting on base. He's putting together good at-bats. That's the first thing I look for in a young player who gets the promotion is not the results, but the process. And I really like what I'm seeing from Ben Rice as a major league hitter so far, where he's showing that he's able to control the strike zone. He's swinging at strikes and he's spitting on balls. He's not chasing pitches out of the zone. That's been the one thing that's really stood out to me more than anything else. Yes, he's got the nice left-handed swing, right? Everybody wants to look at that. Yankee first baseman, that's a thing, right? It's kind of what I wanted Austin Wells to be. But it's the plate discipline that he's got. It seems like he has a good idea of the strike zone, and that's what I'm going to be keeping an eye on the rest of the way. So far, so good. And he's playing good defense too. That's been his flaw, is that he's new to first base. This is a catcher. And so far, I've liked what I saw. He's had some nice picks, some nice stretches. He's flashed the arm, turning some double plays. So he's played good defense. He's put up good at-bats. He's gotten on base. And he's a kid who I think is going to be easy to root for. He seems like a nice kid from his interviews. And I'm looking forward to him. Ben Rice, I like the roll call. He's got a baseball name. Just sounds like a baseball name. But I think the only thing that's really bothering me with this whole Ben Rice thing is why is he the guy who's going to lose reps in this J.D. Davis platoon, right? And I think that's the next thing we're going to talk about here is this J.D. Davis move. So we'll get to that as soon as we return from our second break here on the show. Episode 693 of BD4 will be right back. Just a few seconds.
If you're interested in our website, just go to www.bd4blog.com. You can subscribe to our blog on there right on the front page. Just like on the podcast, we cover Yankees, Knicks, and MMA. Also on our website are the links to the different platforms for the podcast. Thanks so much.
Welcome back to the show, episode 693 of BD4. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. Where am I? Find my spot here on my notes. Oh, yeah, J.D. Davis. That was announced the other day, before Game 3, I think it was, that the Yankees have traded for J.D. Davis. And they plan for him to play versus left-handed pitching, and he'll be playing some first base. So I guess the Yankees don't like DJ at first base, which is why that's going to be the platoon. But I still don't think that's a good enough reason. I think it's absolute garbage that Rice is going to lose reps over DJ and even Glaber. Like, your young prospect who comes up should not be the one who loses reps. If anything, I think the first guy to lose reps should be DJ LeMahieu. I think DJ LeMahieu is absolutely finished. I think he's cooked. I hate using that word because Gen Z ruined that word. I think he's finished. I mean, he gets fastballs and he turns them into ground ball outs every single time. The bat speed is gone. The extra base hit power is gone. I mean, he's slugging 185. He has all singles when he does hit the ball. How much time does he really need? I mean, there are fans clinging to his adequate second half of last season. But I just look at it as he's old. He's banged up. He can't play every day anymore. His last above average season was the COVID schedule. Before that, it was 2019. 2019. He's really bad. His defense has slipped. He's not hitting at all. And it's in like Josh Donaldson territory, where like at some point it's going to come down to two options if we're not there already. And those two options are he comes off the bench, keep him off his feet, and he doesn't play much, or you flat out DFA the guy. And I just can't see the Yankees doing that. So I don't think he should be getting playing time, but unfortunately, looks like he's going to be getting playing time in a platoon. He'll be seeing left-handed pitching, and J.D. Davis will be seeing right-handed pitching. Did I say that wrong? No, yeah. J.D. Davis will be getting righties. DJ will be getting... No, J.D. will be getting lefties. And I think they're going DJ with righties. So he's going to be seeing the majority of those at-bats still, for some reason. And it's like Gleyber Torres also sucks. So why does Ben Rice lose reps to Gleyber Torres, who's got a 296 on base and a 338 slugging? I think Gleyber just needs a change of scenery at this point. It's been too long. It's mental. I think it's just not going to work out here with Torres. And I'm not giving him the benefit of the doubt anymore because I don't think he's going to turn it around because he's had bad seasons before. You know, and the underlying numbers, the peripherals this season are very bad. Like you go to his baseball savant, it's awful. It's all blue. He's striking out more than he usually. He's not been good at all. He's not a great defensive player. Second base has not been great. So I thought, yeah, no, like Ben Rice shouldn't be losing reps to those two guys. J.D. Davis too. Like listen, the Yankees got him for pennies, for nothing. So I'm not going to bitch about the deal. He's not a great defensive player, but they got him for his bat. They're hoping to get whatever's left in there. He's a career 768 OPS guy. 117 OPS plus in his career. This season, he's got a 670 OPS with a 96 OPS plus, so not good. He's a right-handed bat. But, yeah, I mean, they got him because he's possibly got more upside left. He's possibly going to give you more than DJ and Gleyber. You know? Can kind of mitigate whatever they give you. It's an okay move because the market's not going to get hot until the deadline. So there's not going to be any big names out there. So any idiots getting mad at the deal are just getting mad because they like to be angry. This deal was made because they just need something there while Stanton's out. And it also allows Judge and Soto, even though the Yankees say Soto won't DH, to DH. It keeps them off their feet. But it does suck because this would be Jason Dominguez's roster spot. But now the Martian's hurt. So now J.D. Davis is Stanton's replacement. Which sucks. Because everybody knew Stanton was going to go down at some point, right? And now when he comes back, whenever that is, he's going to have to ramp up. Is he going to be the same? He's going to take a while. But he's out. You can't go to the Martian now. So you got to go and bring in this guy, J.D. Davis. Very underwhelming. But it sucks that that's going to be the platoon. Davis Rice. You know, if I'm, managing the team, I hate to do this, but we are on a podcast. I'm doing, in the meantime, at least until the trade deadline, because this is not what I want heading into a postseason series. But until the trade deadline, I would probably go J.D. Davis at third base, Oswaldo at second base, and Ben Rice at first base. And then you have LeMahieu and Torres on the bench, or maybe some kind of second base platoon with Cabrera and them too. But this is kind of what scares me. Like, the Yankees need so much help in that infield. Because outside of Soto and Judge, you're getting so-so to awful production. Let's just be blunt, right? It's a shallow lineup, which is crazy to say about an offense that's produced a top 3 offense in baseball, but it is a shallow lineup that's very dependent on the 2 best hitters in the game. Judge has a 207 OPS plus, which is absurd. Soto has a 179 OPS plus, which is amazing. Volpe has a 109 OPS plus, which is okay. It's 9% better than the league, than average. And then with Stanton down now, everybody else on the Yankees has an OPS plus below 100. So, you got DJ and Glaber duds. Rizzo's out a while, and, Ben Rice is inexperienced, so we'll see. But Verdugo's cooled off, right? I mean, he's been pulling ground balls and hitting into double plays, and he's striking out more. He's not walking a ton. He's not hitting left-handed pitching, which has become a problem for the Yankees. But him not really producing power lately and doing much at all is a real issue because he's the cleanup bat. Now with Stanton gone, once you get past Soto and Judge, Verdugo's got to come through. He's going to be getting at-bats in big spots. Stanton's not there to bat cleanup on certain days anymore. So those guys might just get walked so they get to Verdugo and they're not really scared because he's come back down to earth. Jose Trevino's come back down to earth. Austin Wells still can't hit. Even Anthony Volpe, who's been, again, solid, but he's been streaky. He has stretches where he doesn't walk, where he doesn't hit for power. He's not really hit for much power this year. And where he strikes out a little more. He'll have those stretches where he's kind of not doing much. And that's kind of the ultimate no from leadoff spot in 2024. When you're not walking, not hitting for power, and you're striking out. There are those stretches where he's a second-year player. I get it. But I'm just saying, it's very top-heavy. It's Judge, Soto, and friends. It's those two guys doing the damage, and then everybody else has kind of been too really bad. So that's a concern, and that needs to be upgraded by the deadline. If they want to win not just the World Series, but if they want to get the right path to a World Series by winning the division to avoid that wild card round, you need to make some moves. The bullpen is also a concern. There's been some bullpen turnover since the last time we spoke. Cody Poteet, he was part of the starting rotation anyway, but he's on the DL with a right tricep strain. Ian Hamilton, back onto the DL, a right lat strain. He's not going to be doing any baseball activity for the next 3-4 weeks. Marinaccio was optioned again, of course. He wasn't good in his return anyway. Bickford was promoted. Victor Gonzalez was DFA'd before Caleb Ferguson was. Caleb Ferguson's still here. Victor Gonzalez, who wasn't great, got DFA'd. So there goes that trade. Dennis Santana was DFA'd 2 series ago, so we might have already spoken on that. Nick Birdie moved to the 60-day DL. The Yankees signed a guy named Tim Hill, who I think pitched in this series or last series. I don't remember. They signed him to a major league contract. I don't know. Low strikeout guy, soft-throwing veteran. Yes, he's a lefty, but he gets ground balls, and we have enough of that. Chasen Shreve was welcomed back. Minor league contract, so he's with Scranton right now. But yeah, this is what we have right now. Tonkin's one of the better pitchers in the bullpen. But it's not, hopefully, it's not the final product of this bullpen. Hopefully these are just stopgaps until the deadline or whatever. But it's just like a mishmash of randoms, which is kind of gross. It's not a good bullpen, and it hasn't been good for a while. And their numbers were masked by, Holmes's stretch earlier in the year. And, they were banking on that ERA. But, for the last month, it's been closer to 5, maybe even 6, that ERA. So it's been a bad bullpen, and it needs to be upgraded. Which, we're allowed to, criticize our baseball team, by the way, people. We can stop being homers. And I'm not even talking about the winning and losing. Stuff I feel everybody pays attention to. Everybody else pays attention to, the Yankees' record in their last whatever games. They've not been winning series. They lost their 3rd series in a row. Baltimore's now 1.5 back. That's what everybody else is paying attention to, the losses themselves. I'm not even looking at that. Because at this point in the season, I know the Yankees are a good team. I know they're going to win 100 games, give or take. I know they're going to compete for the division. I know that. We know their record's going to be good at the end of the year. Knock on wood. I'm just looking at roster construct. I'm looking at holes. I'm looking at individual performances of the season on certain guys. That's what I've been looking at all year, right? Because the regular season doesn't really mean shit. Besides standings, I get that. You want to win the division, but like it doesn't mean shit regarding this team's supposed to win a World Series, right? 2022, they did the same exact thing. They were playing 700 ball the first 2.5 months. First 3 months. This team has not earned the benefit of the doubt to just not criticize them at all. That's crazy. They haven't won shit to earn that. They've showed me in the last few weeks that they can't beat top competition. They've lost to Baltimore 2 series now out of 2. They lost to the Dodgers. They just lost to the Braves. If you're trying to win a division, you got to beat teams like Baltimore and Boston, who they lost the series to. Those teams are important to beat. So it's like if I can't point out flaws during wins, why can't I do it during losses? I got an Instagram comment a few weeks ago when the Yankees were on their win streak saying like, what are you criticizing them for? They have the best record of baseball. They're this or that. You're spoiled. Like, and I'm like, yeah, okay. I can't criticize I'm allowed to. This is what a podcast is. I'm not here to jerk off to them. And then I get a Twitter comment 2 days ago calling me spoiled because I'm criticizing the Yankees during this losing stretch. You can't win. You can't make a comment about this team. Listen, at the end of the day, this is a very good Yankees team with a chance to do very good things. But they need the proper upgrades. Okay? You don't need I'm not saying every single position needs to be upgraded, right? Like I've said a number of times, catcher, first base, second base, third base. I'm not saying the Yankees need to go out and trade for 4 or 5 different positions. But like they need to do enough. And that's my next question. Like, do I trust Cashman? Do I trust Cashman to do enough? Do I trust the Yankees to make the tough decisions? To cut ties with veterans and guys who've been here a while? I don't know. Rizzo's, Judge's shower buddy. LeMahieu's a veteran who's been very respected, and he came here and did amazing things. Glaber was a prospect this organization groomed. Like, I don't know if the Yankees have it in them because they've shown that they're going to stick with their vets because they've done it before and so and so. So that's where I'm concerned. I want this team to win a World Series. I don't want them to win 105 games. I don't care about that. We know they're going to win games. I want them to win a World Series, so I'm going to talk about them on that level of expectation. So that's where I guess we sound spoiled. I just call it being a winner. I'm not a participation trophy kind of guy. So that's where I stand. I think that's it. I think we'll wrap this one up here. We'll head to our final break, get back, wrap it up with our trivia question, and that'll be that. The Yanks have some major issues, folks. We just spoke about them. We'll be right back. Stay with us in a few minutes. Studio 69 Productions is a podcast production agency created by Leo Rodriguez to allow content creators to market their podcast. It's an online platform that will market your podcast or any other project that you're working on. Get in touch with Leo Rodriguez from Studio 69 Productions. You can find Studio 69 Productions on Instagram at Studio69NJ. Studio 69 Productions, where dreams are heard and born.
Thanks for listening to BD4, where there is no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA, Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion.
All right. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to BD4, episode 693 of the podcast. I appreciate you all tuning in. Let's wrap this up with our trivia question, and that'll be that. All right, so our trivia question for this episode: which Yankees player did Lou Gehrig pinch hit for on June 1st, 1925, to begin his consecutive games streak? Which Yankees player did Lou Gehrig pinch hit for on June 1st, 1925, to begin his consecutive game streak? All right, so let me know the answer wherever you can reach me, folks. That's it. I appreciate it. That is it for episode 693 of the podcast here. We're going to cut it short at about 40-something minutes. I'll see you in episode 694, which won't be long from now because we got a 2-game set against the Mets Subway Series. Hopefully we'll be talking about a 2-game sweep because the Yankees need to get back on track ASAP. Baltimore is not going away, and they are, again, as I said, just 1.5 games back despite being swept by Houston. And I think they lost again tonight. They're still just a game and a half back of the Yankees. So, Yanks have to win. And we'll see. Appreciate you all. I'll see you in the next show. Later. This episode was brought to you by Anchor.
Hey there! If you stayed the entire way through, we thank you immensely for it. We hope you enjoyed this podcast and that you come back for the next episode real soon. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, download these episodes, and share them with your friends as well. BD4 is a 5-star podcast simply because of you, and we'd like to keep it that way. Have a wonderful day. Go Yankees, and go Knicks!